Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Welcome to Mommy's Mixes and Mocktails. I'm Qui.
And I'm Bri.
And today we're talking about some cool stuff. Of course, the wife life, motherhood, and some hot topics. So today, Bri, riddle me this. Is flirting cheating?
It's flirting cheating.
Yes.
I think it depends on who you ask.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Depends on who you ask. Okay. So I think maybe that is a rule that you have to have established within your relationship. One. Okay. Two, because you have people who are like natural flirters. I'm a natural flirter. I can admit that. I feel like we just had this conversation not too long ago. Mm-hmm. So when I bartend, part of the job is, it's talking, it's being interactive. You've got to show interest in whomever you're speaking with, or whatever the case may be. But I think there are different levels, right? It's like there are levels to these things. Yeah. So there's like a line not to cross with it. You can be flirtatious without, having John or Jane Doe think that by the end of the conversation that they can walk away with you, or that they can touch you, or that they can have inappropriate conversations with you or something like that. Like there are levels to it, right? So like you can flirt, but you ain't gotta be all like,
flirt.
flirt, not, so what we doing after this, flirt, there's definitely levels to it.
Right, like don't put yourself in position to get shot or cut or something.
Right.
And I think like I'm a natural flirt too. Like I think it just comes with being charismatic, and for guys who are charming, you're like, nowadays it's like if a guy is nice to a woman, they're like, ooh, he wants me. Like, no.
Right.
He's just being chivalrous. He's being nice.
Being nice. Right. I'm just giving you a compliment. That's another thing too. It's like you can't give a compliment without somebody taking it the wrong way.
Right.
I'm like, it's okay for my husband to compliment someone and say, oh, that's a really nice dress, or oh, you look really pretty there. You look good today. Something like that. I'm not taking it to heart. I'm not, insecure in that where I would go, oh, you told her that she looked good or whatever. You know what I mean? He tells me I'm beautiful every day. So.
Yes, he does. But I mean, it's nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And like you said, you have to have these things established way before it even happens, because some women are insecure, some men are insecure, and they can't handle you telling somebody else that they're pretty. They can't handle you complimenting what someone else is wearing. Like I remember a couple weeks ago, this guy Razan and I were outside, and this guy walked past and he was dressed really nicely. I was like, well, you look dapper, you better go ahead.
Right. I can hear you saying that.
I know, and that's exactly how I said it. And he was like, oh, thank you. And of course Razan was right there. It wasn't like the guy was going to say, yeah, what's your name? Can I,
right.
You know what I mean? And Razan ain't that kind of guy anyway. So just looking at him and his facial expression, nobody's really going to try it.
Right.
Nobody wants to try it. Nobody. But yeah, I think that's something that I want to hear from other people about. So yes, if you're listening to this, we want to know what you think.
Yeah.
How far is too far? Is flirting cheating? Is your relationship black or white? And if you hear all this other stuff in the background, it's Royce, okay? That's twin baby A. He's my guest host today. He's doing way too much, though. I'm trying to take my glasses.
He's active. He is busy.
He's on that stuff. But I'm speaking of babies, that brings us into the next topic with motherhood and parenthood.
The big V.
Girl, I don't know if you saw it last week. It was on, I think I was watching Good Day America or Good Morning America, one of them. And according to the CDC, 100,000 children are not vaccinated in the U.S.
Wow.
No shade, but my kids are getting vaccinated. I don't know about other mothers. How do you feel about vaccinations?
Girl, I battle with vaccinations. Right. Like becoming a mother, that was like one of my main concerns, right? Because you hear, now I'm not like a big conspiracy theorist or whatever, but right. I feel like I don't trust the government, especially when it comes to people of color, and different things. And there's just so many, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've heard and have read so many different studies, especially pertaining to people of color, children, with higher rates in autism, and, doctors wanting to vaccinate before certain ages with Black kids, and there being like higher chances of autism, in Black boys if they receive the MMR vaccine before 36 months or whatever. And then the doctors have their own schedules. Like there's so much to think about, and I feel like when we were growing up, that thought that wasn't a thing, right? Yeah. I could mention it to my mom, like, oh, I'm kind of back and forth with this. I don't know how I feel about. Ultimately, all of my children are vaccinated, right? Right. But it's something that has always been in the back of my head, like, oh, should I do it? Like, we don't get the flu shot, for instance. We were just talking about that. I just left a parent committee meeting for twins school, and they were talking about how there's free flu shots coming up, and it's flu shot season and everything. And I'm sitting there like, in all my almost 33 years, I ain't never had nobody's flu shot. Okay, neither have my children. I don't plan on doing so. I just try to avoid things as much as possible. Like, I just do all of these. It's just a lot, and it's stressful.
It is very stressful,
especially in this day and age where you've got so many opinionated people. You've got social media. Now, I didn't think that kids could go to school and not be vaccinated. Can they go to school and not be vaccinated?
You can get a waiver. You can absolutely get a waiver to allow your kids to attend school without being vaccinated. And that's the thing that scares me, though. Because with all of these, it seems like all of these diseases that are reoccurring, like coming out of nowhere, like where the heck did the measles come from? I wasn't around for that. My grandmother was, you know what I'm saying? And I was talking to my doctor because the twins had to get their round of shots or whatever. And I was just asking her, I'm like, is this necessary? Like, what are the benefits of this? And I know that manufacturers now are able to combine different vaccines and put them in one needle, so it's less needles, blah, 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 blah. But I was like, well, what is the benefit of it? And what is the risk? She said, well, the measles, for instance, is airborne. I didn't know that. She said, and you don't see symptoms of it for like 2 hours. So if someone were to walk into, let's say, a clinic or an office building or school or something, and they had the measles, you have to shut the place down because everybody would contract it. It would be all in the air. And I was like, things like that, I don't want to really take a chance on. I don't, because I feel like the measles, I don't know what that can do. I feel like after playing Oregon Trail as a kid, everything will make you die. When I played Oregon Trail, my family died from getting one disease. And I'm like, well, this sucks. Like, I never want to experience that. But, for the major vaccines, I feel like I'm okay with it. I talked to even like first-time mom. I'm like, I don't want him to have all of those shots at one time. Doesn't it cause autism? Doesn't it do this, that, and the third? But on both occasions, the doctors were telling me that the medical professionals or experts who were releasing that content, they were paid by lawyers to put that information out there so that it can just validate their point in whatever suit they were involved in. So I was like, well, that sucks. You got medical experts lying? Like what's going on?
And I feel like it works on both ways, though. You've got medical experts who are lying because for one agenda or another. Right. And then you just have us sitting here like, well, I'm going to take it because the doctors recommended or suggested it, but you never know what somebody's, why? Like, what's the motive? Is it money? Is it, is it ethics? unfortunately, we still have to worry about racism
absolutely
across the board, so I mean, I've seen, the documentaries with the whistleblowers and the people come forward and said, yes, we've done this, yes, we purposely injected people of color with these diseases and XYZ, just to see. And I don't want my kids to be a guinea pig. Again, my kids are vaccinated. It just was something that I really, really struggled with.
Right.
And then my other issue with it is every time you turn around, there is a recall on some type of drug. Now, for every drug that has been recalled from the FDA, at one point they were approved by that same administration. You understand? So it's just like, I understand you have to, chew up the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah.
But I feel like for parents, it is such a hard decision to battle, because, you don't want to be that 1 in 4 where now the child did pop up with autism or some other type of disease or issue, and you were just completely unprepared for it, or then you have the the mommy or the parent guilt of, did I cause this? Why did I not?
Could I have avoided it?
Could I have what could I have done to prevent this? And you just you're stuck, like, now what? And then now this is something that you're going to have to deal with for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And autism, that's such a broad spectrum of neurological differences and this, that, and the third. And when I was talking to the kid's pediatrician, I asked for her opinion. I was like, well, what do you even think about the link to that? She said, in her study and in her research, she's found that, can you be quiet? Can you be quiet? Or not? She's found that kids who had neurological issues, it was traced in it was in their DNA. Like it may not have been autism, it may have been some kind of other learning disability or something up here that was off. So I was like, okay, I understand that. That's cool, but still, if you were on the fence about vaccines, that wouldn't help you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, now let me get tests done to see if my heritage has any neurological diseases in it. Like, it's really up to you. And I just pray to God before you get vaccinated. That's what I do. Because it's like our kids are in school. They're in school. You know what I mean? And it's like, my kids' school, it's very diverse. So you have international people. It's people, of course, locally. But it's like, I don't know what other people have been in contact with that I could be susceptible to. So it's like, let me just, put your hood on as well. We're going to get these shots and you'll be okay. Because I'm not homeschooling. So let's vaccinate you. I'm not homeschooling.
But coming.
Nothing else.
Right.
That's the motivation for it. If nothing else, I'm not homeschooling.
Not having it.
But with the flu shot, like I feel like with the flu, we've been doing pretty well, like with the different herbs that they take and vitamin C and different things like that. Because my kids have been okay. And I seem to get sick every time I get the flu shot. So I just I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan of it. And I know people die from the flu and they die from this, that, and the third.
Right.
I feel like some of these things are preventable. If I don't even allow it to get in my system, I'm good.
Right? Yeah. I've been really big on, I've been following a lot of like vegan and alkaline pages lately, and just trying to approach things from different holistic approaches, and just, kind of reading up on who's a doctor, is it CB? And just some of what he preaches and practices and everything. And it's just like, at the end of the day, what did they do centuries ago? Thousands of years ago, they used natural medicines, not all of this, you pop a pill for this, you drink some of that, you take antibiotic. Like, granted, don't get me wrong, some of that, you need some of it. Modern day medicine, wonderful, great. But I don't think we should be running to, to the drugstore every time for every little thing. Let's try an herb. Let's, something, mix up something,
That's what I'm all for that. Like, okay. I was just on Dr. Sebi's website yesterday. I was like, what does he have? Because the winter is coming. Let me see what Dr. Sebi have. But, because it's real. And like you said, with the FDA, at one point, these things were approved.
Exactly.
And you're recalling them because you found something. Shout out to the person who found it, but it's like, sorry to hear about whoever's been taking whatever it's causing, whatever you got.
Right. Now they got cirrhosis of the liver, a third nipple, bad credit. Like,
your kids don't eat their vegetables, like your hair falling out. Nobody got time. I don't have time for it. I don't.
Exactly.
But that's true. I definitely want to hear, because on social media, you can find people on both ends of the spectrum. But I really, really, really want to hear what our viewers have to say about it. And, like, don't allow people to shame you. That's the other thing. Whether you vaccinate or not, don't allow anybody to shame you, because this parenting thing, it just is what it is. I haven't found
come with a manual. Tell you that much.
Hold on. Okay, so do you watch Greenleaf?
I don't.
Girl, let me tell you. So, okay, this is a hot topic because I feel like it happens on too many occasions. Yes,
okay.
He turns up, but it's a character who's married. His name is Jacob, and he's the pastor of a church. Great. So, of course, his wife is the first lady, but they also have the former first lady still working at the church, right?
Ooh, messy.
Long story short, this woman has his attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think in any case, a husband, I'm not going to say anybody's man, but your husband, if a woman has your husband's ear, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. And vice versa. Like, if your wife listens to another man and not you, that's a huge, 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 huge problem.
Right?
Right. Like, I feel like I don't care. Mother, father, uncle, friend at the job. I don't care who it is. I mean, have you ever, has that ever happened to you guys in all of your years of being together?
So when you say like mother, father, I'll tell you right now. My brother, one of my oldest brothers, he's my go-to sometimes when it comes to guy things. Right. Even, when communicating with my husband, and my husband even, talks to him sometimes because he's very opinionated. Shout out to VAR. But he keeps it very real. He's not biased in the point to the point where it's like, oh, you're my little sister, so I'm going to look out and I'm going to say that, he's in his 40s and I feel like he's experienced and, he helps me. So, I mean, so I don't feel like that is necessarily an issue. Although, keep things to yourself, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes you need to speak to somebody. When it comes to involving somebody from the outside who is not.
Yes.
First of all, that situation is just crazy because we're talking X and new and intermingling the two. Like that's just some people do, but I suppose not all. Not everybody can be Will, Jada, and what was the first wife's name?
Cherie.
Yeah, not everybody can't pull that.
Right.
Not everybody's pulling the Mashonda Swiss and Alicia Keys.
Right.
Not everybody's able to do that. So no, we don't have those issues over here.
And we don't have those issues, but I've done it before. Like I've done, not with somebody that I knew. It may have been something related to business. And Razan would tell me something like, babe, you should do X, Y, and Z. I'm like, no, I don't really know. And then I'll go online and see somebody. I'm like, oh my God, babe, this man such and such and such. And he told me I should probably do. And he looks at me like,
Is it the same thing that he said to do?
Of course it is. Of course it is. It just sounded different. It sounded different, and I listened and I got excited.
Oh, so you one of those types.
Really? That's how you feel? I was like, what? You didn't tell me to do that? He was like,
you must be friends with somebody that I know over here. I'm not gonna mention no names, but I'm just saying I can be like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I said the same thing, but okay.
Sound the same. Oh my God, I don't know what it is. It's just maybe because when he started saying it, I'm like, no, you don't know what I'm talking about. Disregard him. And then I hear somebody else say the exact same thing, and I'll be like, oh my God, can you believe? And he'll sit with that face because Razan answers with his eyebrows, and he's like,
that's him.
Yeah, you got it. I was like, oh babe, I'm sorry, my bad. But I really had to start paying attention to those behaviors because it can invalidate him. It can invalidate his viewpoint in my life, which I need all the time because he like.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes those points they're needed, but so I'm gonna just say it like this.
Say it like
that. Like sometimes I feel like my husband thinks he knows everything, and I'd be like, no, that's not it. That's not that's not how you're supposed to. That's not how that. So sometimes I may solicit an outside opinion or something that I'm not going to say makes more sense, but it's just thought out from different approaches.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that's important sometimes because when you hear the same thing from the same person, it can get mundane and redundant, and it's like, okay. But if somebody from the outside has your ear more than I do, like you'll just totally disregard me and listen totally to the other woman or the other man.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that because I don't have to cut anybody. I'm not violent usually.
Right. And I got papers on you.
Girl, account number, social security,
all of it.
We're not, and kids. I'm not playing that game.
Yeah. I mean, like to a certain extent, at some point that could be just disrespectful, and then people not knowing boundaries or not knowing their place. I'll say that, not knowing their place, because at some point, you giving them all of this free will. It's like, then they think that they can. No, that's not a thing.
That's where people get hurt. Bless their heart.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing that would be acceptable here.
No. So shout out to everybody who will not be infiltrating the Garland or Harris household. Bless your heart. Keep your comments to yourself until I ask you. But yes, that's it. Like that's really what we had to talk about today, and I want to know what everybody else has to say. So check us out on our Facebook page, Mommy Mixes and Mocktails with Qui and Bri. You can also find us on Instagram, and if you go to Mrs. Mommy United, we're there too.
Everywhere.
See twerking on there, but I'll be twerking somewhere. Sometime.
Twerking as we speak.
I will do twerk. Yeah. Royce and Rico, thank you so much for being our guest.
Co-hosting, thank you.
And yeah, they need to go somewhere. Maybe I'll feed them, maybe not.
Shout out to Akeisha and setting this up. This is the first time. Don't we just love technology? I was not prepared for this.
Girl, okay? You're prepared for everything.
I was not prepared for this. Y'all can see I'm in my happy space sitting at my vanity, but my hair is atrocious.
Gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous, and so does everybody else. Don't you?
Oh, I appreciate you guys, but we'll have to do this again soon. This is fun when we can't physically get together for Mommy's Mixes and Mocktails. This is awesome. So definitely follow, hit the like, you have the YouTube set up?
I do.
Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Mommy's Mixes and Mocktails with Qui and Bri.
And we're out of here.
Bye.